drinking, day drinking, day drinking, day drinking, Bassist, yeah.
Hey all, it's been a hot country minute since my last episode. I guess I've been doing more day drinking than bassing, but you know, what do you gotta do anyways? So for this episode, I've been looking at finding a drive, not a fuzz pedal, but a drive for the bass. It's good for the current tones and even some of the classic tones, and it's just nice to have that little chunk, especially if you got dead strings, which I tend to have. But I've really had a tough time searching for that perfect distortion pedal. I've used a big muff, put a picture up here, and used to use the Boss OD1, the OG, if you will. Wondering if maybe I should have kept that one, but I don't know. There's good new things on the market, which we're going to find out today, hopefully. Most recently, I've actually used a Joyo guitar pedal. What was nice about it is it had a bass and middle and treble EQ on it, so you could actually kind of dial in that sound for a bass a little bit. A lot of guitar pedals that you use on bass for distortion or overdrive, they tend to be a little thin. Definitely the frequencies are more designed for guitars. I've also tried Ibanez Tube Screamer, and before this most recent purchase, I used and purchased, hold on here while I unplug things, the vintage micro tubes by Dark Glass. Of course, it has a blend knob on it, which is pretty essential for the bass, I found anyways. Being able to have that blend of your natural sound or your preamp sound or whatever your sound going into it is that you like. It's nice to have that and not just have the distortion over top of it. It's nice to have a blend. But it wasn't quite doing it for me. That's why I switched to the Joyo pedal for guitar. But knowing it and trusting Joyo and seeing some reviews online from some fellow bass aficionados like my dude Patrick Hunter, I saw a lot in this. This is the Joyo double thruster. I like double thumper better. A double thruster. Recently priced. I think I got it for $65. And I just, as you saw by the intro, legitimately received from Amazon. By the way, that was a joke. So we're gonna test this out and see how it is. See if it's gonna replace the other Joyo pedal in my pedal board, and we'll also compare it to this vintage micro tubes, and we'll see which is best. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is set up a little bass loop. I'm gonna do it with drums so that my meter is more or less decent. During playback, though, you will not. When testing the pedal, you won't hear the drum so much, just the bass only. But hey, whatever. And we'll just run it through its paces. Just play with the knobs and see if we can find a good, decent sound first with the Joyo, and then afterwards we'll compare with the vintage micro tubes. The camera's backwards for me. I always go this way when I go that way. Anyways, hope you enjoy. Please leave your comments and suggestions and all that kind of crap. And don't bother subscribing. Nobody watches this anyways. By the way, for the stock sound, for the initial sound, I'm just using the B14 Zoom, basically because it has the drum machine and the looper on it as well. It's just a little bit easier. The only preset I've used in it is basically their Sans amp emulation. I just left everything straight at 12 o'clock, so no shenanigans, no compression, no delay, no reverb, nothing like that, just raw. All right, here we go. See if we can get this in one take. Yeah, right. Drummer's grooving. Only real drummers could lay it down like that, eh? Here we go. All right, well, good enough, eh? Not my best performance, but hey, it's off the cuff, and I suck with loopers. Okay, so we'll start off with the Joyo, the new double thruster pedal, and taking it through its paces, see if we can get a good sound. And then I've actually added the Uzi Joyo guitar pedal to the chain, which I hadn't mentioned before. I figured, give a source of reference, seems how I mention it. And we'll compare the Joyo to the current setting I have on my Uzi Joyo and to the vintage microtubes. So let me switch over cameras here, which will involve a webcam vicariously hung to my boom stand here and pulled out to position over top to try to get an overhead shot. Yeah, we're working with a budget here. Hey, man, you got to spend some on beer, and you deal with whatever money you have left to do such technical setups such as this. See you in a sec. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with the loop raw, unfiltered, and then we'll bring in the Joyo. Let's everything set at noon, work on some unity between the two patches, and then see what we got. All right, so that's basically a sound that I would use. All right, so there's my knob setting. Sorry about the poor camera setup, but it is a welfare setup and all. So now we're going to compare it to what I currently have this one set up, the guitar pedal, and then the vintage microtubes, which I will start at noon as well, and then try to find a tone. Okay. All right. Well, I tried to get all three there at the end, but the loop ran out. Not a big deal. So I'll be right back with my final conclusions once I switch over cameras. So what are my final thoughts? By the way, you can see there's my overhead shot there. Yeah, it's on there secure too. Well, first of all, I'm glad I replaced the Uzi Joyo. This is good if you want just that over the top distortion. If you're doing some hardcore metal or just mucking around, maybe a bass solo to cover up your inadequacies or that sort of thing, it'll do. But I'm glad I got a different option. This one and this one. The Joyo was $65. This was considerably more. I don't quite recall what it is, but like any dark glass product, it's a little more high end, and you're going to pay the price. Between the two, they definitely had their distinct tones. There's no doubt about it. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where I'm on the fence. One day I'll like this one more. One day I'll like this one more. It's really tough to say. But currently, I think this Joyo double thumper, double thruster, double throttle is what they should call it. Right now, I would say I'm glad I made the purchase, and this will go into my chain, and then probably flip back and forth, depending how emotions and ears vary over time and stuff. But I'll definitely add to the loop. However, I think to get just that amp kind of growl, kind of tube distortion or whatever, I definitely tweak my preamp a little bit more to get that bass sound, and then use this as an effect. If we're doing some of the 90s metal or 90s alternative, just to get that little boost. I don't think I'll have it as an on all the time pedal. So I'm going to rethink how I approach it all. And by the way, I definitely have to do a preamp shootout. I have like 6 of the damn things. So we'll do that. That's coming up shortly. So overall, is the Joyo worth it? I would say so. $65. I mean, that's I've spent more than that, and I spent more than that today on beer. So definitely worth it. Not the ideal pedal, but what really is. We'll continue the search. All right. Well, thanks again for hanging this long and putting up with my ugly mug and my horrible bass playing. And hopefully you learned something. We will see you on the flip side. The Day Drinking Bassist out.